Tucked deep in the wild heart of Alaska lies a place larger than some countries, where fire and ice have shaped the land for millions of years. Glaciers stretch like frozen rivers between ancient volcanoes, and the remnants of gold rush still cling to the cliffs like ghost stories. Planes have vanished here without a trace, and so have people. Locals whisper about strange sounds in the mountain, and some believe the region is part of something far more mysterious, the so-called Alaska Triangle. It's a place where legends are born, where lawlessness once reigned, and where even today the wilderness keeps its secrets buried beneath the snow. So pack light, but bring your curiosity, because we're heading into the land of extremes, echoes, and unsolved mysteries. I'm Ash, and I'm the daughter.
I'm Liz, and I'm the mom.
And this is The Lesser Known. So today we're talking about Wrangell St. Elias National Park in Alaska. And before we do that, we'll do the question of the day and the national park tweet. But the question of the day is, if you could create a sport, what would it be and why?
I'm not into sports, obviously. I'm into watching them, but I'm definitely not into playing them. I've never been an athlete. And who knows? Like, I could have been a professional athlete had I tried. Do you agree?
No.
Oh, no. But I was just waiting for your, like, yeah, okay, mom.
Yeah, that's why I just stared at you.
So, no, I since I'm not athletic, I would pick something like cleaning. Because I feel like I watched something on TV and it was like professional bed making and they would race. So it was just like if you were to go like watch the Olympics or something, they had like, you know, the seating, they had bleachers all up around it. And then that was the challenge. It was like, how fast can you make a bed? So I would have it something like that, where it's like, I don't like bed making, but like something in the cleaning realm, like, because I love cleaning, and I feel like people would be so competitive about that.
Yeah, I could see that being competitive.
What's your sport if you could make one up?
If I could make up a sport, it would be something with like wildlife adventures or survival skills. I know that they have shows about it where they take these people who have never been in any kind of wilderness thing ever, and they kind of like throw them into it and see what they know. There's like a specific show called Snowflake Mountain where it's like these kids that were like really privileged and babied and like by their parents, and their parents send them here because they're like, you're 30 years old, you don't need to be living with me and mooching off me anymore and playing video games. And so they send them there, and the guy who like runs it is like a retired Marine or Army person, I don't know, something like that. And yeah, it's really funny because they learn how to like hunt and just like survival skills. Like they're out in cabins with no electricity and no this, no that. And they have to like hunt and forage their own food. So I would make a sport out of that.
Or like the hunting, foraging, or which part? Like the just general?
Like all of it, just in general. Like you could break it up into different things. Like how fast can you build your own home? How fast can you like create something sustainable? I don't know, just things like that.
And then at the end they'll have like a tournament.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like that. Like they do win prizes. I kind of forgot how the show goes though, but Snowflake Mountain is what it's called. I would want to make a sport out of something like that. So my national park tweet is, always hike with proper supplies and equipment. Remember, flippy floppies may lead to slippy sloppies. I don't know why I thought that one was so funny.
And relatable. I tried to climb a mountain before. To me, it felt like climbing a mountain. It was a hike in Vermont, and I was wearing like slippy sloppy shoes.
Yeah.
Like the bottoms were like flat, and I was sliding all over the place. Dude, it was like wet, you know.
Yeah.
It was like, it's rivery and like stuff like that. It was like so wet, and I was just like sliding, and I was miserable.
Yeah, I just went on a hike with Nona. I was telling you about that, where it was just rocks and dirt, and my shoes had no grip. It's just like these $20 pair of like 7-year-old shoes that I got from Ross. And they have like, the bottom is flat. There's no grip at all. It's just I mean, honestly, I can feel everything, like rocks. I can feel it. It's like wearing toe shoes. They're just really bad shoes.
Do you have hiking boots?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I was gonna say I could get you some for your birthday or whatever.
No, you bought them for me.
I thought I did, but I couldn't remember if you kept them or not.
No, I have other things planned for Christmas and stuff. Yeah. But some of them are expensive, so we'll see.
So
maybe just like a down payment.
Myself. Oh no.
No, it's no, I was gonna actually make a list. I think we should have a family list of like gift ideas.
Well, they have an app for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you put in what you want. It's like a Christmas app, and you put in like all the things you want, and then I can't remember if you check it off when someone buys something so you don't double buy.
Why don't we do that?
I don't know.
We should do that. Because sometimes I don't know what to get you guys because you just buy what you want. Mm-hmm. And everything I want is expensive. So even
That's
if
the
it's
worst
like
part about buying for an adult. It's like when you have adult kids, it's like the stuff they want is insanely expensive. But when you have an adult parent, it's like they just buy stuff because they don't want to wait for a holiday. They're just like, I like it. I want to get to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember at one point we weren't going to do presents anymore. We were going to do like trips. Remember? Mm-hmm. That kind of didn't happen.
Yeah, it's just because our schedules, like we're so
I know
different. It's hard to get everyone together at once. So,
are we doing a family trip?
Fizzled out. I would like to,
because we'd have to before I go to school.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to the episode. Okay, so today we're talking about Wrangell St. Elias National Park in Alaska. It was established as a national park on November 12, 1980, by President Carter. And it's actually the largest national park in the U.S. For comparison, it's the same size as Yellowstone National Park, Yosemite National Park, and the country of Switzerland combined.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
It has over 13 million acres of remote wilderness, glaciers, and volcanoes. And I always think it's crazy that you can have like both of those things, like glaciers and volcanoes. Yeah. There's only one road that goes through the park called McCarthy Road, and it's a bumpy 60-mile road, so don't get stuck. Could you imagine just being stuck on there for whatever reason? Because I picture the 347, where I live in Maricopa, and having to drive that. And anytime something would happen on that road, it would delay you like hours. So I can only imagine if this is the only way, like if you drive halfway down, it takes like an hour. And then you run into something and you can't go further. Then you have to drive an hour back and you saw nothing.
I feel like there must be like rangers that just patrol that. That's all like their job. It's just to go
like
back and forth.
Or something.
Yeah, because if you get stuck there, then yeah, that's super dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm sure it must not happen that often though, right?
I looked it up. It didn't seem like it. I feel like they tell you how the weather is and how the roads are, because it did say they don't really maintain it in the winter. So even though it's open all year round, it's not very well maintained. The largest glacier in the world is the Bering Glacier, and it's located in this park. It covers over 1,500 square miles and has a length of over 100 miles long. The park also has some of the largest volcanoes in the world and is home to several active and potentially active volcanoes. Mount Wrangell and its volcanic field cover over 2,000 square miles of land and contain thousands of lava flows. It's also one of 3 of the largest volcanoes in the world, and the last eruption occurred over a century ago. But it's not like dormant. It still has, signs.
So it's going to come due soon?
Yeah, we'll see. Could you imagine, like, Alaska's, like, not... It's, like, it's part of the U.S., obviously, but it's, like, not. You know what I mean? It's, like, way over there. So if a volcano happened, just that whole island would basically be gone.
It depends on the volcano.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but this is, like, the largest. So I'm assuming that it would just be, like, devastating. Tied for first place with the Grand Canyon, this national park is said to be the most dangerous national park in the U.S. per volume of visitors. Like, per volume, because it doesn't get as many as the Grand Canyon. The probability of dying there is 1 in 100,000 due to drowning. If Wrangell got as many visitors as the Grand Canyon gets, which is between 4.7 and 5 million a year, then that would mean 50-ish or more people die a year. And that's not including the missing people and the search and rescue missions.
And that's mostly drowning?
Yeah, which is crazy because it's like, I just think of it all being frozen, you know? The park is among the least visited national parks, with only 81,670 visitors a year. And for reference, the least visited national park receives 11,907, and the most visited national park receives 12 million, which we talked about. That was a Great Smoky.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah. Even though it has a small number of visitors, it is reported that approximately 50 search and rescues happen in the park per year, with approximately 9 fatalities coming from those, and the rest being found or remain missing. And then in general, Alaska has an average of 2,250 people disappear per year, which is twice the national average. And that's just like in the state of Alaska. It's
all that wilderness.
Yeah.
Wilderness gets you.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I say. This is largely due to the remote and rugged terrain, but also some believe it has something to do with the Alaska Triangle. And I feel like everywhere has like a Bermuda Triangle of sorts.
Kind of. I don't know. I feel like they have the Bermuda and then they have the Alaska, but I don't think we've talked about any others.
Lake Michigan. Remember they had like a...
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. And I think there was something else too. I feel like we talked about one more. The Alaska Triangle runs right through the middle of Alaska. The area began attracting public attention in October 1972 when a small private plane carrying U.S. House Majority Leader Hale Boggs, Alaska Congressman Nick something, an aide who was Russell Brown, and their Bush pilot, Don Johns. The plane seemingly vanished into thin air while flying from Anchorage to Juneau. For over a month, 50 civilian planes and 40 military aircraft and dozens of boats covered a search area of 32,000 square miles, and no trace of the plane, the men, or the wreckage was ever found. Crazy.
That always like freaks me out. Every time we get one of those plane things that like no one was found.
And there's a lot. But I mean, there's plane crashes everywhere, you know, that just like vanish. Afterwards, more planes went down, hikers went missing, and Alaskan residents and tourists seemed to vanish into thin air. Since 1988, more than 16,000 people have disappeared there. 16,000 is a lot.
16,000 is a ton.
Yeah.
That's not, I could see if it was like 160 or something, but in the thousands and this is just missing people?
It's just people, who have disappeared there. One of the strangest and lesser known plane crashes happened in 1952. It was the crash of the U.S. Air Force C-124 Globemaster, which is a massive military cargo plane nicknamed Old Shaky for its tendencies to rattle in turbulence, which is scary.
Like, why? Shouldn't Old Shaky be retired at this point?
Well, it definitely
people are
is
like
now.
Scared to, yeah.
It was flying from McChord Air Force Base in Washington State to Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, carrying over 50 passengers and crew heading to their next assignment. The flight departed on November 22nd, and by all accounts, everything was normal. But as the aircraft passed over Alaska's southern interior, it seemingly disappeared into thin air. When it failed to arrive at its destination, alarms started to go off. Search and rescue teams were immediately launched. For days, planes scanned the vast expanse of glaciers, forests, and mountain ranges. Eventually, a signal from a locator beacon was picked up, leading them to the debris field on the side of Mount Gannett, I think is how you say it, deep in the mountain range that runs in Alaska. But the terrain was dangerous, icy, avalanche-prone, and remote, so recovery efforts were quickly called off due to the deteriorating weather and unstable conditions. And then the wreckage was buried by the glacier, effectively erasing it from sight. The military considered the case closed due to being lost to the elements. For 6 decades, or over 60 years, the mountain held onto the plane. Then, in 2012, fragments of the plane began to reappear at the foot of the Colonial Glacier, which was 14 miles from the original crash site.
Oh my God.
Melting ice from a warming climate had finally begun to give up the hidden wreckage. Things like pieces of plane, uniforms, and even human remains started to emerge, but the full aircraft and many of the bodies are still entombed in ice and may never be discovered until the ice fully melts, if it does.
That's so cool because like all these plane crashes and stuff, first of all, it's kind of cool that it just like swallowed it up. And then now it's spitting it out later and like 14 miles away.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about that. It just seems like nature is so cool sometimes. I know I'm sad that obviously they crashed. That's not the cool part. But it's just cool that things that we think are in one place and then end up somewhere else. So even like if you're exploring or in a different part of the world and you're like, oh, that's weird that these people were from this area, but now they're in this area. And who's to say that something like that didn't happen?
Yeah.
When they find it like 100 years later or something. And I just think that like, I don't know what that's called, like geography or geology. I think it's geology. It's like, that's like super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that like the glacier just swallowed them up and hung on for 60 years and then floated them somewhere else.
Also, that's like, I thought glaciers were solid. So I'm surprised it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like, I mean, I don't know like a lot about glaciers, but I'm assuming that since it's also by water, maybe the water that they pick up turns into ice and makes it bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Or maybe a glacier can like roll over the wreckage.
They're just so slow from what I understand.
Yeah. They did originally find it though. And then they couldn't recover it. And then that's when that happened. So
oh, got it.
I'm assuming it was just because of the bad weather that it just like entombed.
Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah. It's a neat theory. I understand it's sad, but it's like a cool theory.
There are some other theories as to what happened, but like to make the airplane crash, but it's unknown the exact reason because back then they didn't have a black box on board, so they couldn't like hear the last radio calls or anything like that or know what was going on. Some believe that the aircraft may have iced up or experienced engine failure in the thin mountain air. Others suspect a navigational error caused by the rough Alaskan terrain. And at the time, GPS didn't exist, so pilots relied on dead reckoning, visual landmarks, and early radio navigation systems that weren't always so reliable, especially in the weather.
They just unfolded their maps.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's how I learned. My instructor made me do a map.
Real? I was just kidding.
Yeah, because we have GPS in the plane and on our phones, like through ForeFlight is what it's called. But we had to learn with the map, like the old school way. So
I mean, I guess that's a good idea in case all your systems went down.
Yeah. But what makes this story so chilling is the way it vanished so completely and then wasn't rediscovered until 2012. The cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder systems, which is what we call the black boxes, were not standard equipment in military or commercial aircraft at the time. These devices only became mandatory after a series of high-profile crashes in the late 1950s and early 1960s. The U.S. didn't require flight data recorders in commercial aircraft until 1967, and even then, military aircraft were slower to implement them across the board, which is military. I feel like we always are like really slow at getting stuff.
So just for future, when you start flying, if they have nicknamed a plane Old Shaky, please don't get on it. It's my one request.
Yeah. We should do an episode of like haunted planes / crashes, because like the Everglades one, that one's haunted. And then when I was interviewing at Scott Air Force Base, they told me about one like military aircraft that was supposedly haunted, and they knew about the one in the Everglades. So I thought that was cool. We should.
Do you know anyone who knows about it? Like we can find out what plane that is?
Wait. No, but I remember the name of it. I wrote it
Old
down.
Shaky.
No, but it was something like that. Yeah.
Old Haunty.
Yeah. That's what reminded me of it, though.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Just do like a whole, like maybe Sunday Scary on it or something.
Yeah. So even though the park is known as the most dangerous national park, it is still beautiful from pictures and like pictures that I've seen, and has many alluring features, interesting stories, and intriguing things about it. This includes a sinking mine with a killer on the loose, a mountain that roars, one of the largest volcanoes in the world, and a crash that led to a discovery. So we'll start with the mine / ghost town now. The ghost town of McCarthy, which is deep within the park, was once a rough mining town during the early 1900s copper boom. It was considered Sin City compared to its neighboring town, Kencott. Am I saying that right?
I think it's Kennecott.
Okay, because I was saying that, but I'm like, it's probably not
Because
that.
I was listening, I was like trying to like learn a little bit about this park. So people like often said Kennecott. So
okay.
I think that's right.
Compared to its neighboring town, Kennecott, which boomed in the early 1900s. Kennecott had strict rules, no alcohol and no families. So McCarthy was where the miners went to cut loose, which I feel like that's happened in a lot of parks that have two mining towns. Like one is more strict and the other is like the red light district, you know? It quickly grew into a little town full of bars, gambling halls, brothels, and bootleggers. It even had a red light district, which was rare in Alaska outside of the larger cities. Then in the early 1980s, McCarthy had become a quiet ghost town, home to only a couple dozen year-round residents, many of them homesteaders, artists, or people just looking to live off-grid. That is, until Louis D. Hastings moved to McCarthy in the winter of 1983. He told neighbors he hated the government and had a bizarre plan to blow up the Trans-Alaska pipeline to prevent further oil development. But before carrying out that plan, he decided to eliminate the witnesses, which were the handful of people he told in the town. So on March 1st, 1983, he used a rifle to kill 6 people and wounded 2 others. Because it was winter, many people were isolated in their cabins that were reachable only by snowmobiles, or skis. It was one of the worst mass murders in Alaskan history. And what's chilling about it happening in McCarthy is they had no police, they had no phones, they had no quick way to get help. The outside world didn't even know about the massacre until a survivor, who was a young woman, escaped by skiing miles to the next cabin, where she was able to contact authorities via radio.
So she was shot?
I don't know if she was shot. It just said she was a survivor.
Did he also kill himself, or he just...
No, I don't think he did. It didn't say anything about that.
Dang.
The murders stunned Alaska and reinforced the feeling that McCarthy was still a place where laws don't always reach and where help might come too late. Today, McCarthy is still small. It's less than 50 year-round residents, but it's become a quirky destination for adventurers, travelers, and Wrangell St. Elias visitors. I mean, I think he was caught.
I would imagine, because how would they know who he was if he wasn't? But dang. Yeah, I should check that out now. I wasn't even going to do anything like McCarthy, but I mean, after that, the fact that there's barely anyone there, and then the people who were there got mass murdered. Awful.
Yeah. You have to park outside of McCarthy and walk across a footbridge to get there, because there's no paved road. And until recently, there was very little cell service. So now there's like a little bit. There are ghost tours, old saloons with bullet holes still in the walls, and cabins that haven't changed in hundreds of years. So they kept all of that to like...
I'm completely changing my route on my my episode now.
Yeah, I hope you get something from that. Some visitors to the national park have reported hearing booming sounds or low rumbles that seem to come from nowhere. It's a phenomenon known as mountain boomers. Scientists believe it's due to ice shifting or underground rock movement, but local legends claim it's Wrangell's volcanoes growling, which is a sign that they aren't as dormant as we think. Mount Elias at 18,000 feet is the second highest peak in the U.S. And 9 of the 16 highest peaks in the U.S., including Mount Wrangell, are located in this park.
It's just so big. How long would you need to travel? Like, how long would you need to, like, set aside a week to visit this place, or?
Well, I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what you would be doing. If you're hiking, probably longer. Like if you're wanting to hike the high mountain ranges or whatever. Because I feel like that would take days just to hike one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more about Mount Wrangell. I know we talked about it earlier, but there's some more cool stuff. It's the only active volcano in the U.S. with such a high elevation and is completely glaciated with a lava dome beneath the ice, which is a bulge of slow-moving magma, and it continues to grow. Scientists have recorded seismic activity and rising heat levels, confirming that molten rock is still active beneath the glacier. So that's how they've like determined that it's not dormant.
Mm-hmm.
And then other cool things about the volcano is it vents steam through the snow. So that'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Does it warm up the ground then?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because like there's still ice around it, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's why it's so confusing. Because it's like you have all the lava and the heat from these volcanoes, but then there's all this ice. So it's like, what is going on there?
Yeah, that's why I don't understand how they can like coincide together.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You would think the volcanoes would heat it up enough to where the glaciers would melt. But that could be why that glacier pulled that plane
maybe
so quickly.
Yeah. And in Yellowstone, it was snowing when the steam was coming up, you know, from Old Faithful.
Yeah.
It was snowing. And there was snow around it. So you would think that hot.
It's so strange.
Yeah. I think it just creates more ice.
True. Yeah. You're probably right. Like black ice. You remember black ice?
Mm-hmm. These emissions are sometimes so strong they're visible from 100 miles away. Locals and bush pilots have long called it a smoking mountain, even when maps mark it as dormant. Speaking of pilots, I was listening to a podcast. I forgot which one it is. I guess Alaska has the most pilots of any state because because it's one of the only ways they can get around. Like a lot of people don't even really, like you can drive, but a lot of people take snowmobiles or fly.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and my instructor was from Alaska.
Oh.
So, yeah. Anyway, another fun fact is it's also one of few volcanoes in the world where lava and ice are constantly interacting. And then the last thing I have is there was a small plane crash in the remote Nabisna area. I don't know how to say it, but I think it was another mining town because when I looked it up, there was like McCarthy, Kennecott, and then this little town. And the plane crash happened in 1978. Everyone did survive, but during the wait for the rescue teams, one of the passengers stumbled across a hidden cache of gold ore, which was likely stashed decades earlier by illegal prospectors.
No way.
Yeah. So
That's
they
so cool.
discovered this little, While the location was never officially disclosed, whispers in Alaskan bush pilot circles suggest that gold is still out there, waiting to be found again. So it makes me wonder if some of these hikers and pilots that disappear are looking for the gold and they either get lost or trapped in the Alaska Triangle.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's like the triangle wants them. So it's like, here's some gold. And then it's like, gotcha.
Yeah, that's probably what.
That's probably it.
I do have one thing. Let me look up Atlas Obscura because there was a really cool thing that if I visited this park, I would want to go to. So I want to share it. It's, I don't know how to pronounce this city or town. It's Yakutat. It's like Yakutat, Alaska. And there are glacier ice caves there that look really cool. Yeah. I'll send you this so you can see it.
If you send it to me,
really
I can
cool.
put it on the YouTube video.
Okay. Yeah, it says that this ice cave in Alaska's Guyot Glacier was carved or melted by the steam that is running along the cave floor. But that's all I have for.
Yeah, that's cool. It seems like there's like a lot of really cool stuff there. It's not really for me. It's not somewhere I think I would want to visit, but
me neither.
It's very for the hardcore adventurers to me. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. I would like maybe dip my toe in it just to say I went, because like I want to go to every national park, but I don't want to really go there. I would go to the ice caves though. That is cool. Yeah, just like, stand outside the park and just be like, no, I don't want to pay the $20 fee. I just want to stick my foot in there.
That'd be hilarious just to say you were there. Yeah.
But that's all I have.
Yeah, guess it's good. So yeah, if and you guys want to watch this on YouTube, we're gonna put some pictures from what she talked about in the episode on YouTube, so you could go there and subscribe. I haven't really been putting stuff on Instagram. I guess I should start again, but
yeah, busy. Life be life and
life be life and exactly.
Well, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time for probably whatever Wednesdays.
Yeah,
or something off the map.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.